Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about something that I came up recently and I felt it was really interesting. So this is Streamlit, and using this framework you can use your Python data scripts and convert it into beautiful shareable web applications in minutes. So that's what the website tells us. So इस framework को use करके हम अपना web applications create कर सकते हैं. So this is basically the main motive here. So imagine you're using a data set or the set of data that you have, you want to visualize it. So you can write simple Python scripts in this framework and run it. So it comes with a live integrated server. तो आपको इसके लिए Tomcat या Django वाली configurations करनी नहीं पड़ेगी. So उसकी ज़रूरत नहीं है यहाँ पे. And you can use simple modules like NumPy, SciPy, Panda to create the data set and use it for your application. And don't worry, we will do a small hands-on demo on this as well, so please keep watching the video till the end. For now, I'll remove my face from here so that you can see this clearly. I'm sorry for that. So as you can see here, it's mentioned the fastest way to build and share data apps. So Streamlit turns data scripts into shareable web applications in minutes. So this will obviously depend on how complex your application is, but as per Streamlit, they're talking more on the lines of creating web applications and not the data sets. So I think we can give the points to them here. And all in Python, all for free, no front-end experience required. So this is good for people who want to create web applications with datasets and don't want to spend time on JavaScript frameworks like HighChart or Chart.js or D3.js. So that's a good point for them. So you can just install the framework, write the code where you import Streamlit, and using the modules it provides, you can run the application locally and it'll launch the web app in the default browser that you have. And by writing some more code using its modules, you can create visualizations for the dataset that you have, as it is shown here beautifully. So we are creating the visualizations here as well, and you can deploy it with a few simple steps, but for now it can be done only by requesting an invite so that you can host it. And you can do that by uploading a code to your public Git repository. So that keeps it very simple. And with Streamlit, one of the major advantages that you have is when you make changes in your code, you don't have to restart your service or application. It takes in the real-time changes on your code and shows the same on the web application that you are currently running on. More like what we already do in the web frameworks that we have used before. So this is something that is available here as well. And as you can see, embrace scripting, build an app in few lines of code with our magically simple API, then see it automatically update as you iteratively save the source file. So this is something that they are telling us, and this is a very good thing, isn't it? And this is something that was really interesting, where they tell us that adding a widget is same as declaring a variable. So these type of frameworks might already be available in other platforms, but if you're working with Python and you want something simple, you can go for this. It's cool that way. So these are some of the selling points of this framework, and this is more of an encapsulation when it comes to just defining the context, and the rest is executed underneath. You can see we have a lot of widgets and they look very good for simple apps. I'm sure this will be really handy. So please make sure that you use them. And the most important thing as per Streamlit is the ability for you to deploy your applications or the app that you have instantly. As they have already mentioned here, use Streamlit's invite only share feature, a sharing feature to effortlessly share, manage, and collaborate on your application. So you can raise a request by clicking on request and invite. And for this, you can just create an application that you have on your public repository and select the new application that you have, choose the repository URL that you have, choose the branch and the main application file that you have, and you can click on deploy. And by doing this, you will have your app running on the hosted environment. So this is something that is really good. And when you click on request and invite, you can come here and fill in the details for your Git repository and email and sign up for this so that you get access to hosting your application that you have. And there is a huge pool of very good applications that you can take reference from and see how they have been made and learn from them as well. So like we have Train Generator here by Johannes Orik. If you click on this, you will go to the app directly. And this app actually helps to generate code for machine learning algorithms. So you can check here, so you can see here code generation for machine learning. So I can basically switch from PyTorch to scikit-learn and the code will automatically change to that. And I can just choose one of the algorithms or models that we have here. Let's suppose k nearest neighbor. So based on that, it'll change the code for us. and you can copy the code or download it or open it in your notebook. And you can check out their Streamlit cheat sheet and get all the information about what are the type of charts they support and how you can install the framework and create the widgets. So big shout out to the team, the Streamlit team, for doing this and helping others in this process. So now that you have enough information, let's start coding. So the minimum prerequisites are you should have Python and an IDE installed in your machine. So I am using Python 3.9 and Visual Studio Code. You can do the same if you want. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a virtual environment. I'm going to install Streamlit. So this is my command line terminal that I have. So what I can do is I can go to documents and I can just create a directory like source code folder. So once I've created this, I can just slide into that. So here I can create my virtual environment where I'll install Streamlit. So the main idea of installing or creating virtual environments is that I can create this environment totally separate for this particular application so that it does not conflict on my existing environment that I have for Python. But if you wish to install it in your existing Python environment also, you can do that by not creating a virtual environment. But I would advise whenever you create a new project or if you're working on new projects which require you to install different other modules that you're not using in your current project, then you should basically create a virtual environment, because that will really help you when it comes to incompatible or non-compatible version of applications or the modules that we install in Python. So for now, if I want to create a virtual environment, what I can do is I can just type virtual env, and then I can just type the virtual environment name that I want to create. So it will be Streamlit env. So let's suppose I want to create it with that name. I can just type virtual env and I can just type the name of the virtual environment that I want to create. So now the virtual environment has been created for my 3.9 Python. So what I can do, I have to execute it or I have to activate this. So if you do a ls here, so currently I'm using PowerShell, so I'm using ls. So if you're using a command line, then you have to do dir instead of ls. So now come back here and we'll activate the virtual environment. So what I can do is I can just type Streamlit and do ls here. You have to go inside the scripts folder. So you can do scripts, and in that you can see we have an activate file. So what I can do, I can just type activate and do a tab. Then it'll tell me that this is the file that you want to execute, and just hit enter. So once you hit enter, if everything works fine, you will get this environment activated. So this means that your environment is activated and anything that you do will affect only this Python executable or interpreter. So if I just type pip freeze here, you see I have no additional modules installed here. But if suppose I go to my default environment, I'll have all these already installed modules here. So I'll just type clear and I'll clear this. Let's move it this side. So now what I can do is I can just hit install for Streamlit. So for that, you can just type pip install Streamlit and then just hit enter. So it will install all the modules that are required for this application or the framework to run. Okay, so now that it has been installed, what you can do is if you just want to test it, you can just type Streamlit hello. So this will open a default application for us, or the front page of that particular Streamlit web framework. So just like what we do in Django. So you can just press enter here and it will open this demo site for you. So welcome to Streamlit. Streamlit is an open source app framework built specifically for machine learning and data science projects. So select a demo from the drop down on the left to see some more examples of what Streamlit can do. So here you get the option. You can just click on animation. This is one of the applications that they have, demo applications. You can click on plotting. So this is basically a drop down menu. This also can be created and we'll create this. So wait and watch. And we have mapping as well. You get the full code as well here that you can use. And as well, you can choose the data framework or data frame demo. So this basically is giving you the data of gross agricultural production of China and United States. So this is the code that you can refer to as well. And once you come here, you will see welcome to Streamlit. Check out our demo in our browser. So this is the local environment that you have, local URL. So if you want to read more about how you can create your applications, you can visit this site as well, which we already did. So for now, we'll just close this. Is the next thing that I want to do is I want to create my own application, isn't it? So I'll just move out of this folder. So here we have one folder that is Streamlit env. I'm going to create one more folder, Streamlit app. And this is where I'm going to write my code. So the next thing for us is to create the application. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use in module, because I'm going to create a weather app. In order to create a visualization for the weather app, what we are going to do is we are going to install Python weather. So just click on Python weather and you'll get the code here which you can use to basically create your application as well. So this is just a demo. So I'm just showing you how you can use this. So just go to your Visual Studio Code, click on File and open folder. And here what you can do is you can browse to the folder that you have where you created the virtual environment and the Streamlit app folder. You can just select the folder. So now that we don't have any Python files here, it is not showing anything. So you can just click on start new file or create new file. Select the language as Python. And I'll just save it with my weather. Okay, just save it. So it is saved with my weather.py. And the very interesting thing with Visual Studio Code is basically you can choose the interpreter that you're currently working on. So here it is currently set to the local one, where I can basically click and choose the interpreter path that I want to set. So you can see here we have enter interpreter path. You can just click on this. You can click on find. And here you have to iterate to the virtual environment folder that you have. So we had created Streamlit env. Just click on this, go to scripts, and here you have the Python executable. So you can just select this. So now my interpreter is set to the virtual environment that I'm currently working on. In order to test it, you can just click on terminal and go to new terminal. It'll it'll activate the virtual environment for you. So this is simple, isn't it? I don't have to go to the terminal or PowerShell again and again to work on that. I can just directly work here. So if I do a pip freeze here, I'll see the modules installed. So there's the Streamlit, and it has installed a lot of modules. So it has installed NumPy, it has installed Pandas, it has installed PyWin32. And now what I can do is I can install weather app. So just copy this and just paste it here and just hit enter to install it. Okay, so now everything is installed. You can just do a pip freeze again and see that your module has been installed, or the application or the library has been installed, the Python weather 0.3.5. So now that we are done with all the prerequisites that we need to run this application, what we are going to do is we are just going to copy this code. Just to save the time, I'm just copying this code so that we can actually work on this. And in order to use Streamlit, what you have to do is you have to import that. So how we will import that? We'll do import Streamlit as st. Okay, so we'll keep everything as it is. And if I just want to run this, I'll just disable this for now and we'll see. So this code basically should give us the weather details of Washington DC. So I have this file right now. So I can do a ls here. I can just run this like python myweather.py. So now it is giving me these details of the particular date and the type of climate it will be having and the temperature. But this does not look that beautiful, isn't it? So that is why we'll be using Streamlit to make this beautiful, or we'll beautify this. So let's see how this can be done. So I have imported Streamlit as st. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to create a data set for myself. So this is where the print statement is. So this is the data that I want, isn't it? So what I can do is I can create two columns. Column 1 or column underscore 1 is equal to a blank list. Column underscore 2 is also a blank list for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove this And what I'll do is I'll remove this date for now, and I'll do column underscore one dot append of forecast dot sky underscore text, and column 2 will be my forecast dot temperature. So I'm creating a data set here, and this data set, what I can do is I can use it with my Streamlit application. So in order to create an application, the first thing that I will do is I'll create a title. So I'll give it a title here, Streamlit.title. You can use Streamlit title module here so that you can create or you can add a title for this. So my weather app application, we'll give an emoji here. And then what I can do is I can just give a particular heading here, st.write of. So this is my, or this is my weather application by Pythoholic, isn't it? So now that I have given the title, I have given the heading, what I can do is I can create the data set. So for that, what I can do, st.write, and I can use the panda module here. So for that, what I can do, I can just type import panda as pd, and then I can add the data set here. So pd dot data frame of, and I'll add what exactly is the row that I want and what the column should be. So the first thing will be weather column 1, comma. The next thing is temperature, isn't it? Temperature is column 2. So now that my data set is ready, so this should give me the list of all the dates, or sorry, list of all the weather and the temperature. And this module basically is using async IO. The weather application or the weather module that we have uses async IO dot get event loop. But sometimes what happens is you might face an error like there is no current event loop in the thread. So what I can do is I can just add a try catch block here. So try, and I can add this inside this, but there are other good ways to do it, but this is just an example. So please forgive me for this. And I'll do a runtime error here as ex, or what I can do is I can do run ex, and then I can add a condition like if there is no current event loop in thread in str of run ex. So what I'm going to do, if there is not there, then what I'll do a loop is equal to async IO dot set event loop or new event loop. I'll create a new event loop, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to set that async IO dot set event loop of loop, and then just hit enter and do the get event loop, async IO dot get event loop that we wanted to do. Just we will add this. I think this got removed. So now this is okay for us. So if there is any error that comes with the get event loop, and if that has a message like there is no current event loop in thread, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new event loop, and then I'm going to set that event loop for that particular new event, and I'll do a get event for that. So in order to run this, what you have to do is, it's very simple. So you have to just type Streamlit, then space run, and then the file name that you have, myweather.py, and just run it. So now you can view your Streamlit app. Okay, so import panda is pd, so it is pandas. Sorry for that. But one thing that you have to notice here is I am not going to restart this application. I'm just going to refresh this. See, that's what I wanted to show. So purposefully I kept error there. Yeah, that sounds reasonable, isn't it? So now we have my weather application. This is my weather application by Pythoholic, and the weather is this, like sunny, partly cloudy, and you have the temperatures here. But this doesn't look that interesting, isn't it? We should use some widgets and see how it exactly can make a change here for us. I'm going to create a drop down where I can select the name of the city that I want, because this is hard coded to Washington DC here. And based on the selection of that particular city, it should change the temperature. It sounds reasonable. It sounds good, isn't it? So let's do that. So for the first thing that I have to do here is I want to create an option list, isn't it? So I'll do an option list here. And then in order to create an option list in Streamlit, what you can do, you can just type options equal to st dot select box. You have to choose select box. And here I can just type please enter or please choose the name of the city. And then what I can do is I can just add the list of cities that I have. I'll just copy this. Copy and paste it. We'll add some more cities. So this will be Chicago. So there will be another city like New York. Another city will be New Jersey. And we'll also add Ohio as well. And let's add some Indian cities, Mumbai and Hyderabad. Okay. So once this is done, you are good to go. You have added the input validation checklist here and the city names that you want to select. And the next thing that is, we have to write that, isn't it? st dot write of you chose the city as option, isn't it? So this is the option that we have. And similarly, what we can do is I can just replace this with option because we don't want to have hard-coded values here. And the next thing that I want is here I was missing the dates, isn't it? So what I can do, I can just add one more field here like column underscore 3. Okay. So what I can do here, I can just come here and I can type column underscore 1 dot append of. So the first thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to check for the date, isn't it? So it will be str of forecast dot date dot, I'll just split this. So what I want is I want this value, right? I don't want the whole thing. So I can just split this into 2 using the spaces as a delimiter. And I'll choose the 0th value of this. So once you split this, you will be the 0th value and this will be the first value. So I can just choose this one. So this is my first value now. So I'll just change these to 2 and 3. And then what I can do is I can add date colon col underscore 1, because column 1 is my date, column 2 will be my weather, and column 3 will be my temperature. I think this looks good. So now just save it and just go to your application once again and just hit refresh. See, please choose the name of the city. And we have the option here of all the cities. But one thing that I want to change is I want to give these two here at the first. This looks very ugly, isn't it? Okay, so now this should look good. Yeah. So my weather application, this is my weather application by Pythoholic. Please choose the name of the city. So I'll just keep these two as a reference here. So I can choose the city name right now. This will be Washington DC for the first one. And you see you have chosen Washington DC and this is the data of that particular city. This is the data for that particular city. So if I want, I can change it to Chicago and it'll change based on the temperature it has. And if I change to Mumbai, see the temperatures are reasonable only right now in Mumbai. In Hyderabad, it should be higher. Just choose Hyderabad. Oh no, it is also good because we are in a monsoon season right now. So this should be reasonable for every city that we have. And these are the temperatures that we get. And based on that, it actually changes. So this is a very simple application that I've created using Streamlit. And you can add so many other features to this. And the one thing that I wanted to show you was this one, where exactly if you go here, you see this option. You can just click on this and you can clear cache and you can rerun it once again. or you can deploy this application, record a screencast, you can reach out to the documentation, you can ask a question, you can report a bug, you can choose the settings. If you click on settings, you will see a wide mode. So when you make a change on your code, it will automatically update your deployment. And here you can choose the theme, like if you want, you can do this as well. This also looks cool. So this is basically how it looks like. So once you have your public Git repository and you have signed up for Streamlit, you can basically host your application by clicking on deploy this application. So that's what I wanted to share. This code is basically available right now on the Pythoholic's GitHub link. You can just use this as well if you want to try out. And if this really helped you and you liked it in any way, then please do subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. And if you wish to see more content like this, please share your ideas in the comment section below. So that's all from my side today. I'll meet you in the next one. Until then, it's Pythoholic signing off.